morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of voice of radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at a new Kingdra. Yeah, there's a new Kingdra coming, ladies and gentlemen. And this one, I mean, look, it's a stage 2, right? It's a Kingdra. Kingdra's a stage 2, we get it. But this one looks really, really interesting indeed. Now, of course, I should mention that our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet here. That's something you should be expecting at this stage. And starting off with the basics, we've got 150 HP, which is too low for a stage 2. Dragonite in the Sun and Moon base set ended up with 160. We're like a generation and a bit on from that, and you're rocking 150. Not loving it, frankly. Retreat cost of 1 does mean you get free retreat with U-turn board, so that is kind of nice. And we got a weakness to lightning here, which, I mean, Pikachu and Zekrom and Raichu and Alolan Raichu, they're going to KO you anyway, but it's things like Boltund, which are going to be able to take advantage of this weakness, which is, shall we say, less than ideal. But you are a water Pokemon, that's weakness on Weldedex, and things like Centiskorch, and it means that you can use Capacious Bucket to find your energy, and Frostmoth to accelerate your energy, and Nessa to recover your Pokemon and your energy. So you know what? It's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too bad at all. But what does it actually do? Well, according to the lovely Antoine, it's got a really rather nice ability here that reads, whenever your active Pokemon gets KO'd by damage from an opponent's attack, you may move any number of water energy from the knocked out Pokemon to this Pokemon. So the ability here is basically like a super EXP share. EXP share, which we have had confirmed is coming as a reprint in this set. Whenever your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you may move 1 basic energy from that Pokemon to the Pokemon this is attached to. And this is any number of energy, but it has to be water. So you can get a lot more energy with this ability, which is awesome, but it can only be water energy. For what it's worth, we'll get to the attack in a moment, but the attack only functions with water energy anyway, so this shouldn't be the biggest loss ever. You will probably be okay here. And this is a nice ability. What it basically means is you can be running around with your other water Pokemon and chilling, knowing that you've got Kingdra in the back. Now, what you can do, of course, is have a couple of Kingdra on the bench if you can get them rolling. And then you can split the energy between them. A 4 energy Pokemon goes down. So you put 2 on one Kingdra and 1 on the other. But it means that you don't need to worry about the energy. You can be rolling along with things like, I don't know, Inteleon or whatever. I know Inteleon's another stage 2, but do remember it's got that awesome ability. Lets you search for 2 trainers when you evolve into it. And Drizzle lets you search for 1. So that could be kind of fun. Or you could be rolling with an Inteleon V Max deck, because that's something that people tend to play nowadays. And the point is that every time your active Pokemon goes down, that energy's not wasted. Your opponent can take a prize, your opponent can take a Pokemon off the field, but your opponent's not able to take your energy off the field. Most of the time. Because you see, the wording here is the same as the XP share, and it's really important. Gets KO'd by damage from an opponent's attack. So if you're KO'd by poison or burn damage, the energy is lost. And if you're KO'd by your opponent dropping damage counters, again, unfortunately, you will lose the energy there. It won't get kept around. And that might well be something your opponent is looking to do. So if they can get you 1 damage away from being KO'd and then drop a Galarian Zigzagoon, that will get rid of all your energy. Of course, most of the time what you want to do is drop the Goon and then KO, rather than attacking, waiting till the next turn, and then dropping your Goon to get the KO. And remember, if your opponent does that, it gives you an opportunity to heal up, etc. So you might be alright there. Generally speaking, if your opponent's KOing you with damage counters, it's either from an attack or from an ability, but it's usually when you're close to being KO'd anyway, so that will give you time to heal. But what does the attack do? 1 water energy minimum. This attack does 40 damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. Oh, well that, ladies and gentlemen, is some pretty gosh darned good synergy right there. Use the ability to pile energy onto you, and then come in and smash with this attack. And this is one of those attacks where you might have to muck around with a bunch of energy, but you can KO anything with this. You know, let's take the biggest, baddest Pokemon in the entire game. Let's take a Eternatus V Max. Now, they've got 340 HP. So if you've got 8 energy on there, that means you'll do 320. That's not enough, although things like Goons can get you there. But if you've got 9 energy on, you'll do 370 damage. Even if they've got a big charm attached, you'll still get a KO. And 9 damage is a lot, but remember, you don't have to worry too much about attaching to Kingdra. You can use Frostmoth, more on that in a minute, to just pile energy on. But a lot of the time, what you're going to be able to do is just leave Kingdra on the bench passively and just let the energy accumulate throughout the game. Use a bunch of single prize water Pokemon, and then when they all go down, you get Kingdra. One card that I have been very, very excited about and been playing around with, but it's never really worked as well as I might have hoped, was the Black Kyurem from Cosmic Eclipse. 2 energy, 30 damage, discard a special energy, man, nobody really cares. But 4 energy, 100 damage, if you have a stadium card in play, you do 200 damage. That sounds pretty good to me. So 200 damage, but the problem is you got 130 HP and you got 4 energy on there, and it's hard to continually get the 4 energy on. Doing 200 turn after turn after turn is lovely, but the problem is a lot of the time what happens is you attach the energy, and then you get KO'd, and then you just can't keep getting the 4 energy on there. Well, any turn you struggle to get the 4 energy on Black Kyurem, you should have a bunch of energy on Kingdra here. I mean, essentially, when one Black Kyurem goes down, that's 4 energy on a Kingdra, that's 160 damage. When 2 go down, that's 8 energy, which means 1 manual attachment, and you will KO literally anything. One of the issues of Kingdra, of course, is going to be that your opponent is going to try and use boss's orders. They're going to try and drag Kingdra into the active before you get an opportunity to really take advantage of Kingdra. If you've got 7 energy on a Kingdra, such that you're hitting for 280 damage, your opponent's going to go, hang on a second, that doesn't seem like a good idea right now. It's probably about time I use the boss's orders to KO you, and that's fine. But the great thing here is that you are then still going to have your 4 energy on your Black Kyurem to do 200 damage. And that's kind of my point here. I like this very, very much indeed. Or maybe you use the Lapras, that for 4 energy does 70 damage and puts 2 of your opponent's energy back into their hand. Now, generally speaking, right, this is way, way too expensive to actually seriously think about using, until you get to the stage where those 4 energy translate into 160 damage on a Kingdra, and then essentially you just frustrate your opponent by constantly getting rid of their energy, and then when Lapras goes down, you can come in with a much, much bigger attack. And that's kind of my point here. I love the idea of trying to use this with lesser played Pokemon that are honestly a little bit expensive, because it doesn't matter that they're a little bit expensive, because any time they go down, you can just come straight back in here and smash with Kingdra. And that makes me very, very happy indeed. How about the Wishy-Washy from Cosmic Eclipse? You get 3 energy on there, do 130 damage. But if you're damaged but not KO'd, then at the end of your turn you flip a coin, and if tails, you shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck, meaning your opponent doesn't give up a prize. And when they do finally KO it, those 3 energy just go to your Kingdra. And remember, Wishy-Washy's 180 HP Pokemon that only gives up a single prize. And that's kind of my point here. Use some weird, expensive water Pokemon that's not supposed to be particularly good, knowing that if you do end up getting KO'd, you can just get that energy right back onto Kingdra and start smashing from there. It's a stage 2 and that's a little bit awkward, but essentially here I'm just thinking Frostmoth. And I'm thinking basic Pokemon like Black Kyurem, like Wikiwashi, like Lapras, etc. And then hopefully by the time your opponent starts knocking out these bigger basic Pokemon, you've got one Kingdra out. And if you can get one Kingdra out, then either your opponent goes after the Kingdra, leaving your big basic Pokemon doing good damage, or they go after your big basic and Kingdra gets the energy. Or they go after the Frostmoth, but then they leave your basic down, giving you time to get another Frostmoth. I like this. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. It's a good Pokemon. It's a fun Pokemon. Yes, I'm a little bit off by the fact that it's a stage 2. But I think there's so much potential here. I love the idea of using a Pokemon that's been too expensive, knowing that when it goes down, the energy goes on to a potentially better Pokemon, and then all of a sudden it's actually not too expensive after all. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.